Wednesday, everybody. We are
Happy
here
Hump
at the
Day.
Monterey Airport, getting ready to fly to Denver for a very exciting event that is being put on. 700 people are participating, $250,000 in
Oh, really? Wow,
prizes.
a lot.
Ton of our friends will be there. A bunch of organizations that have been able to participate with for more than a decade. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be a short one today. So, Nigel, Dan, Malachi, anything ripping through your mind right now you want to tell the party people, since we're going to have a real short one as we have to jump on the flight?
Real happy for you to be able to go and spend time in Colorado. Good on
It's going
you.
to be great. I know. It's going to be so
I'm
good.
sure we'll get a good report from that.
Yes.
I definitely want to hear about this hackathon. I feel
Yeah.
like there might be a little bit of conflation with the ability to do more with coding and code that actually could be used in a
Yeah.
very real sense. I think I would love to know what the true translation, the context of that is, because yes, do I think that more people can produce code that might be able to produce something that looks pretty good? Sure. But do I think that someone is just going to never touch code, no, do nothing
Yeah.
or do less than nothing, and all of a sudden put in a couple prompts and an enterprise level app is going to come out that a company is willing to use and rent their brand? Probably not.
I've talked to
But
coders
somewhere in
before.
between, yeah.
I've talked to some coders before who were using some of these AIs, whether it's just Gemini to kind of put everything together, or if it's something like Lovable that does it all for you. And none of them have said something like, this is the only thing you need. You don't need to know how to code at all. It's always like, yeah, this is really good for getting your idea kind of formulated and making it into something brief. But you got to know how to be able to do some sort of coding because you're the human. Like, you need to be able to make input into this. And I also think that in the same way that there's such a big leap from when people are just picking up rocks and moving them to another place, and that's all you can do, and then now you have a jackhammer and you're able to dig so much more. Now the bar is set so much higher. So it's no longer that you can just make basic apps. Now it's to the point where to make something good, it has to be really, really good because of the tools you have available.
Yeah, better than nothing is a low bar.
Yeah.
Well, I
But
can
when
say
you're creating
this.
something like a business, you do
Here,
have to
Yeah.
create something first.
I can tell you guys this. I've logged into hundreds of apps for events, and the app for this event was made by Lovable. It's a Lovable's in the domain. It's probably as good as any event app I've ever been in. And this team spun it up with Lovable. So that says something. That's seven. So that's 700 people that are going to show up. They're already using the Lovable technology, which is a vibe coding app, and so they're already in that motion of, oh, this is like a good enough product that I can tell it what to build. It can build something like this.
Yeah. I mean,
So
we
I
sure
think
have
we're the
created a
last.
sick name,
I
vibe
think
coding.
they're ready to call our name. So we're gonna go on mute and block our camera, and you guys can keep chit chatting with each other. We'll be back in a moment once we get settled.
Sounds good.
All
Sweet.
right.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing when the real questions are asked. Okay,
Yeah.
so yes, you built this whole website using Lovable. Okay, to what point? Like again, like the context to me, you can't have contextless or even minimal context discussions anymore simply because of AI. It's incongruent because I could say, an F1 formula motor engineer helped build this car. And he could have just showed up and twisted one bolt and be like, I participated.
Yeah. Technically it helped.
I
It's
love
like
that.
context is just so important when you're trying to actually give information. It almost seems like it's so simple that it's weird to even say it. But in a world where it's easier to get attention when you don't give the full context, it's simply a problem that exists.
Yeah, I think we're gonna become more discerning by design. It's gonna naturally happen, and that's a good thing. I feel like it's
Man, what a
super important for us to be able to ask the questions and really, get to the the nitty gritty. I was thinking about Opus, which is another, like one of those long form to short form apps, and it's a perfect example. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I put this in, I put my long form in, I get 20 shareable, pieces of content. It saves me hours. But the people that I see saying that they're using it, none of their content is out the box that
That's
way.
true. That's true. I realized
Because
that.
when you have a team of 75 people doing editing, you're not using anything that just you click a button and go, yeah, I'm not even looking at it, I'm good. That's not happening.
I think there's some ways that AI can be used just as a tool, because in many ways it can be too heavily relied on, where now you're just trusting everything it says. But I saw a stat yesterday that about 80% of the information you'll get if you're doing some sort of research is going to be valid, but another 20 is going to be the AI making stuff up to try and satisfy you. And it's wild to see that it's such a high amount as 1/5 of the things you get told. And I think in a lot of ways, AI has major benefits for everybody, even people who don't like the idea of AI. It can absolutely benefit people who are just wanting a better tool than the current software they use, because AI can align things in an easier way. It just is machine learning being used in its best. But to some extent, it can be too easily relied on, and that can bring its own problems, like making entire apps solely out of Lovable, even though we have no idea what it's making.
Well, the heavy lifting is great. I mean, but I do think you
Yeah.
need that expertise. No matter what, you're going to do way better when you get that expertise. So if you get 80% of it done with AI, sweet. That's nice. And I personally would feel better if that was the presentation, and not you need nothing,
That's true.
or
Yeah, it
you
would
need
be
no
nice.
skill whatsoever. You might not need to know how to be a coder, but it probably will help substantially if you're around someone who knows how to code, that'll offer you a little guidance. It just is that. And I just feel like that level of transparency, to me, I want to see that become a metric that's used universally to really, call it integrity, ethics, whatever the case may be. It's something that needs to be there. Because I know from testing attention live over the years, there is no, it's laughable to me, the amount of heartache I gave Landrew.
I just want to
Sorry,
personally
Landrew.
thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you enjoyed that way too much. I mean, I think that I think we made amends, but I feel like there was probably a good year where Landrew probably thought that Ian specifically sought me out to be a thorn in his side. He's like, here, take this, and when you stick it in, you twist it, and then get the salt and lemon juice and just
But do you think that you being so, I guess, stern in a way, helped the product get to where it is today?
It always does, because the intent was there. When
It's
your
the intent.
dad and I met, he was like, you seem like somebody who's going to use the product. And he was like, go use it. He do it. Like, go. It does everything. And your dad was making big, bold statements, do everything. And I was like, great. We're on the same page. Let's go nuts. But it's important that you have, like Ted put it best, like you need to challenge lovingly. You need to say the things, hey, this is not working.
Yeah.
And know that even if it doesn't work, be aware, so that if someone calls you and say there's an issue and you know how to fix it, it's not fix, but you know a workaround, that shows that you've done the work. Like this, when you don't want to be ever in a position where you be like, that's no big deal. Like that's not it. Like I feel like you always do better when you know, because that's what the skill set comes in. Like I think if everything went perfectly, you could probably have one heart surgeon that says, okay, you do this first, you do that first, you do that. AI, automation, done, because everything is going to go perfectly. The value of the surgeon is when it doesn't go perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, because
When the
the moment,
algorithm mess ups. Yep.
which it
It's those
inevitably
moments.
will,
Of course.
because what that means is you either fall into the category of perfect or dead.
Yeah.
Those are the two options. It's very binary. So I'm thrilled that that we have these tools, and I encourage people to, you know, lean in, get 80% of the work done, learn a little bit more, be able to participate more in the process. But
speaking more on like the transparency of it, I understand that when something is marketed as you don't even have to know how to code, and bam, you can make an app. Everyone's like, "What? This is too good to be true." And it's like, maybe it is too good to be true. But then when you actually have something that says this is going to give you about 20% of information that's maybe true, but you get 80% information that we are almost certain is going to be true. We know that this can make your whole process go extremely fast compared to what you're doing now. And this can communicate to you in a way that's similar to a human being. So bam, they started with something that I didn't want to hear. 20% of it might even be false. Now they're already on the hook. And so they're, in a way, being forced to try and fix that by putting themselves on the hook. But then I get told the good things about it. This can talk to you like a human. This can do things extremely fast. And this is just the new technology, and it's the tool that everyone's going to be using. And so when you have it presented like this, I would way take the one who explains it like that compared to the one who says, this is perfect, there's no problems, there never is going to be any problems. Because I know that that was to some extent much more true because they actually were willing to tell me some of the negatives in a way. What do you think about all this, Dan?
Amazing.
Amazing. Have you ever, like that, if you ever found, like, if you're skeptical about something, like, that you could just, like, almost like predict in the future, you're like, I don't know about that one. That one may not quite be the thing. And it's not because you want to be skeptical. It's just that you know what the consequence of the other side of that looks like because you've seen it.
Sure. I find myself being quiet. That's where I find myself now because probably, I don't know, I'm going to be quiet again and not even say what I just thought.
Well, sometimes that's a good plan because you don't know that it's going to go the way you think it is.
That's true.
I know how it is. So, I mean, I guess, you know, if what's the old, if you got nothing good to say, don't say anything. If you're not going to bring sunshine to it, you know, don't come. So if you're not coming here with all your stuff and, you know, I don't know, bring some money and whatever, and you're going to contribute, you know, it's kind of like stay away. So, well, yeah,
you think about hackathons. The good thing is it probably unearths some of these issues too. Somebody's on the plane.
I love watching Dad go through the airport to outside of it to the plane.
This is the most amazing time ever to be an idea person. So it's been said for so long, ideas mean nothing. All that matters is execution. Now you have tools that can execute the hardest 80%, 90% of a project. So I think there's a lot of good that can be said about the current state of things with apps like Lovable. I imagine I'll learn a lot. Yesterday was a massive global event in San Francisco called the AI Vibe Coding Summit. It was packed. From what I can understand, it seemed to like really, really go well. So there's a lot to be said about this whole thing of showing up with an idea, getting consensus amongst a small group of people with this idea, and then leveraging apps to do the first 80, 90% of the work to kind of work to get your wiggles out and figure out, is this something actually worth pursuing? I'm going to wrap up our live stream because I'm on a plane and get ready to fly to Denver. Nigel, why don't you wrap us up for the day?
Well, we can't wait to come back and share what you've learned at that. And I think your thought about being an idea person, we are in a great time where ideas the what not. AI is the perfect challenge to why not, like that question that asked that question, why not?
Yeah.
Difficult. Why not? And if I don't have an answer, I'll make one up. So maybe it'll get you thinking in another direction. So I feel like we have a lot of opportunity ahead of us. And, it's a very opportunistic time that we can take advantage of. And I look forward to hearing what you come back with. And I'm sure you'll be asking the tough questions so that we'll be able to get some insights and bring it back to the fine folks here at Beachside Tech Talk. So thank you for sharing some time with us.
And it's fun to be on the front lines as well, getting to hear it from the source.
No doubt. Okay, guys. See you tomorrow.
Okay, have fun.
See you guys.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Okay,
Safe
love you.
travels. Peace. Bye.
We will.
Bye.